Hello everyone, it's Jess Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Wasteland, my weekly show where I take a deep dive into a particular film. And welcome to the first episode of my Alfred Hitchcock series that's going to last 60 weeks. Not as long as John Ford, but also I'm more excited about this one anyway. But joining me for this first episode, which is apropos looking at the title of the film that we're talking about, is my wife Jess.
Hi, great to be here.
And we're talking about
barely comprehensible.
Always Tell Your Wife. And that's a short film we will be talking about, which unfortunately is half of it's lost, and there's only 8 minutes left of the 20-minute film, and I'm pretty sure it's the second half of the film that's available.
They just kind of throw you into whatever.
So, but we'll get there because there's 3 segments on the show. We'll start with coming attractions, get to our film of the week, and then leave you with some recommendations. So, coming attractions, this is the first weekend of September. Ew. Where'd this year go? 2/3 of the way there. And coming out this weekend, there's some interesting like indie comedy romance films like Twinless and The Baltimoreans and The Threesome and films like that. But there are some bigger films coming out, including on Apple TV Plus, which, Jess, your most anticipated one is Highest to Lowest from Spike Lee starring Denzel Washington.
It's true.
Why are you excited about this one?
I like both Spike Lee and Denzel Washington. I don't really know that much.
It's hard to argue
I know
with
you
that.
saw it.
I did see it
and enjoyed it
a few weeks ago before it had its theatrical release, but now it's coming on Apple TV Plus, so hopefully more people go check it out.
That's right. I blindly trust Shane's opinion with everything.
And this is the 5th collaboration between Denzel Washington and Spike Lee. And it's also a remake of one of Akira Kurosawa's best films,
I like him too.
High and Low.
That's another reason, wow.
So it's just a more modernized New York set, music producer focused one instead of the shoe company in Japan back in the 1960s.
Sounds like it works.
I think they do some really interesting things with it, so hopefully people go check this one out. It's a little bit clunky in the first act, but once it hits the second act, it really starts firing through, and it does some really great stuff for sure. My most anticipated, and this is definitely a more personal pick, is The Conjuring Last Rites, because The Conjuring 2 is one of my favorite horror films of all time. And I love Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as the fictionalized versions of the Warrens. They do not reflect my feelings on the actual Warrens, who are charlatans and crooks and...
Wow, how could you say something so bold yet so controversial?
How could I say something so bold and also factual?
Finally, my anti-Warrens propaganda has sank in.
Jess is not a big fan. Well, here's the thing. I don't really care about the real Warrens.
They're not... They're so much of a separate character. They're different.
I don't care about the real Warrens. I only care about the ones that James Wan created and put in this movie with Patrick Wilson.
He was contractually obligated to make them better people.
And they're great people, which is why I love these versions of the Warrens.
If they ever make a movie about us, we need to put the same clause. We need to look up the wording that they had.
They don't need to worry about that.
I know, but like still.
Like anybody's going to make a movie about us. But, you know, this is supposed to be the last film. We have our cats joining us for this episode, so if you hear Jess shrieking because she got scratched by one of them, or one of them shrieking outside because the door's literally not closed, and he could easily just open the door, but whatever.
And he's clingy.
But I'm a huge fan of the Conjuring films, and a lot of the spin-offs are not great, but even some of them are enjoyable, and this one, I'm looking forward to seeing where their story goes. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure The Conjuring is making the most money this weekend. This will be the biggest box office weekend since Weapons came out.
It's the start of spooky season, allegedly.
It is spooky season.
We went on a ghost tour and she said that. Oh.
Yep, it is. So it begins. But our quote-unquote feature of the week, short film, is Always Tell Your Wife from 1923. 2 couples, the Hawkses and the Chessons, engage in an affair. And this is from director Alfred Hitchcock, along with Seymour Hicks, who had to take over for director Hugh Croyce because he was apparently ill. So this is how Hitchcock got his first gig. Was this film, which the first half of this film's gone, which I'm imagining the setup is these two couples are having affairs with each other's partners, wind up at this place, and some private investigator shows up with a camera to catch them in the act. And that's where the movie begins on YouTube. If you watch the 8 minutes, is somebody setting up a camera.
Yeah, without that, he just looks like a creepy peeping
Yes.
Tom. That's why I'm like, is he a PI or should he be arrested? Because people show up and immediately start kicking his ass. Like
And this film, as seen, is just 8 minutes of slapstick shenanigans.
Yeah, they beat the crap out of this guy.
Which, there's not a whole lot to say from like a narrative standpoint. It's like, this is a funny situation where like a PI is trying to capture them with this old clunky camera. Because, you know, this is...
I love the powder. He's like got the powder up and he's trying to look at the, I think it's called a transom window or something like that above the door.
Yes, and like
excuse me, can you hold still in this position for 6 to 7 seconds?
He gets knocked over. His camera gets knocked over. He gets in the room. Yes, he's running, and how the setup is, it's room connected to room, door, room connected to room.
Yeah, it's like an old-timey Victorian house.
So they're like
doors are
running through, and it's like a... They should have just put like Benny Hill, like...
Yeah, he ends up on a different floor at one point, I think, and then he just... Ups himself back up.
Gets punched, gets thrown, gets chased.
On his feet to be quiet.
Yes,
gets blown up.
Yeah, and then also winds up on the ceiling.
The door's almost touched, so there's a lot of like shenanigans with them not seeing that guy.
Hiding behind the doors, this and that, and like they get up on the roof, and he like puts a mask on and pretends to be like somebody else faced backwards with a mask on the back of his head. Mask. And then he turns around because he thinks they're gone, and then they turn back around the corner because everything goes in a circle. Cop involved. And at one point he jumps over, and a dog's supposed to be holding the line down for him, and the dog just lets him go, and he just falls.
Yeah, he jumps from one building to another. Yeah, the dog is like maybe 20 pounds, by the way.
Yes, which...
A little Jack Russell Terrier.
You gotta suspend...
Sure, why not? And there's a cat. I'm like, oh, Shane, there's a cat. I bet they're gonna... Not you.
It's just
not trained.
This movie has a decent amount of slapstick shenanigans that you could enjoy. It's 8 minutes, and there's not a whole lot to the story. It's just a setup and slapstick. And if that's enough for you and you want to fill up 8 minutes with some laughs, I think it has enough laughs to entertain you for 8 minutes.
I don't regret it. I don't think I'd watch it again, but
fair.
Fine.
I don't think I'm going to watch it again either, but if I wanted to, it's there on YouTube.
Some pretty high ratings on IMDb. Interesting.
I don't trust
I'm guessing, I mean, I don't either, but I'm guessing people who are seeking this out, like, they probably wouldn't just randomly watch this. It was kind of hard to find. Yeah,
because I was trying to find the 20-minute version, the actual full version, but it does not exist anymore. So that's sad. But, you know, this wouldn't be the first time I watched partial of a film for the show, and those were John Ford films.
The old celluloid that just combusted when you looked at it wrong.
There you go. But Jess, do you have any other thoughts on Always Tell Your Wife?
Nope. I don't understand what the title had to do with the movie, but it's fine. I guess always tell your wife you're having an extramarital affair.
There you go.
I mean, it was the 19 teens, right? What is she really going to do?
Now, Jess, let's get into some recommendations. And you have a YouTube channel that you want to recommend.
Yeah, a collection of video essays. The channel's name is Horses, which a lot of people have probably already heard of, but I enjoy them.
Are
they're deep.
Are they like informational videos about like horses and the history of horses?
No, they have nothing. It has nothing to do with horses, actually. It's stuff like there was one about witches in Iceland, Land of Witches, and it goes into like the Northmen type of thing.
Ooh.
Yeah, with Olive.
Why is it called
and
Horses?
Whatnot. There's probably an explanation. I don't know the deep lore. He's got an actual like people name too. I don't remember what it is. But I enjoy it. The one today I think is about like the shadow self and that Jungian concept, and like what is good and evil. Reminds me of that quote from that video game that said, "Is it better to be born good, or is it more noble to be born evil and overcome your nature and become good?"
Interesting.
Every once in a while, two of my neurons touch and actually communicate, and I enjoy stuff like that.
There you go.
Actually, they don't touch, but they connect. That's not how neurons work. Big fan of Chubby Emu, too. Speaking of medical stuff, big fan of him, Dr. Bernard.
There you go.
We always love the presenting to the emergency room. I love a bit. Because above all, Shane, you have to remain committed to the bit. Which is what I'm doing. As I ignore my extremely needy cat.
But some of the other recommendations, so I do my usual new film, watch list film, rewatch film. So, new film was the new documentary about Devo, which I didn't know much about Devo outside of Whip It. And Mark Mothersbaugh being a famous composer, especially for Thor Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm. I see it, too.
Yep.
We love a synth.
Them starting out at Kent State, being inspired by the Kent State shootings, and just their progression of what they did with music, their sarcasm, their experimentation, just their whole entire vibe was so fascinating, and I think this documentary did a really good job of capturing just how they saw themselves, their music, and how it all fit in the world around them.
Yeah, I didn't know much about them, about the artiste. It makes sense, though, with that, like, Dada-esque hats and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Little fire hydrant hats. What do they say, the cereal? They called them cereal bowls. I always thought of them as fire hydrants, but I don't know.
Interesting.
That's what art is, right? You interpret it.
Key thing is you must whip it.
Yeah, there were a lot of the songs before that. I was like, man, I'm not enough of an artist to get it.
Them and Sparks. Just some weird stuff. Weird stuff for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Meatwad when he says, I get it, but I ain't laughing. You get it, but it's fine. Who cares?
Now, film off my watch list, which is our movie club movie for this month, we wrapped up, is Lady Snowblood.
That was great. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yes, this is a film that heavily influenced Quentin Tarantino, especially Kill Bill.
There's Rurouni Kenshin. Shout out to my youth. A lot of blood.
There's a lot of blood, limbs flying, badass woman with a katana just like slicing and dicing.
Yeah, man.
Even a moment like that, it was like her jumping in like slow motion and like the music effects and stuff like that.
The opening scene's great too because they're like, "Move, bitch," basically, and she just destroys them all. It's great.
Get riggedy wrecked, and
I love it.
A great climax of the film, bloody, intense. There's some twists and turns. It's a thrilling, really well put together film with some great action and stunt work and prosthetics and
I enjoyed it a lot.
Practical effects. And you could definitely see why Quentin Tarantino and like this had like 70s horn focused score that really gives it that like exploitation kind of feel that Tarantino really channels in Kill Bill. And
we love a woman who gets the job done.
She does. She does indeed get the job done.
We don't love intergenerational trauma, though.
True.
In an ideal world, she would have gone to therapy, but it's okay.
I don't think there was therapy for her there. But the last film that I want to recommend, which is rewatch, which I actually have watched twice in the past month, is Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't regret having seen it like twice in the past month. It was a good time.
Willem Dafoe is amazing as Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin, because every single line reading he has in this film is absolute gold.
Oh my god, he gave his all for us. He did that for us.
Tobey Maguire's a very specific kind of Peter Parker and sad boy Peter Parker.
It's definitely giving that boy band era of existence, that like harmless boy that's just distantly crushing on you.
Cliff Robertson and Rosemary Harris as Uncle Ben and Aunt May are perfect.
Breaks your heart every time.
They're it. They're the best. I love the action, the stunts, and the brutality of the moments in this film.
Yeah, it goes from goofy to like kind of brutal. Like when Aunt May's praying and he's like, "Finish it!
Finish it!"
My God, Willem Dafoe.
Evil!
I mean, I guess he hit full send. You see the same. He draws from the same place that he draws from in The Lighthouse.
It's just
somewhere deep within him.
This film, like Sam Raimi, really captured the vibe of what he was trying to go for, mixing some pseudo horror moments into a very comic booky feeling kind of film.
I based my whole personality on this movie.
It's like you got Bonesaw.
I love that.
Macho Man, Randy Savage.
He looks like such a normal person too. I'm used to the 80s, 90s. Randy Savage with the
He's super
avant-garde.
voided. He's super voided out.
Oh yeah, he's
in
got
this
that
one.
bump on his shoulder. And he's so sweaty. Like, he looks
Got
like
you
he
for
just
3 minutes.
rolled around in a puddle.
But this film is so much fun and such a great comic book adaptation, and it sequels one of the best of all time, Spider-Man 2. Butterfingers.
The Spider-Man-ing.
Spider-Man-ing. But that is a wrap here on another episode of Welcome to the Wasteland. We got 59 more weeks of Hitchcock, so buckle up
Got you for 59 more weeks.
So buckle up and let's go on a ride. But Jess, thank you so much for coming on as always to talk movies with me.
You're welcome.
And thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.